1894. Will Keith Kellogg creates cornflakes at the Battle Creek Sanitarium. His brother, John Harvey Kellogg, takes the credit, claiming the idea had come to him first in a dream. 1928. UB Iwerks creates Mickey Mouse, which will make Walt Disney $100 million. 1962. Stan Lee sees a fly crawling on a wall and someone else creates Spider-Man for him. 1976. George Lucas explains what a Wookiee is to a disinterested Harrison Ford on the set of Star Wars. 1982. The first fully computer animated sequence in a feature film is created by the team who would go on to become Pixar, and even Spock is impressed. 1984. Steve Cram runs up the Grand Canyon and eats a bowl of Kellogg's newest cereal, Start. It is sold under the pretense that it will keep athletes in shape even though it does not. It remains on supermarket shelves for 34 years until the 20th of March 2018 when it is discontinued without a word of warning. Steve Cram is nowhere to be found. I was disappointed. Start was nice. It looked like alien heads and was so crunchy it hurt to eat. It's important to point out that this was very different to the American cereal Smart Start.
Introducing Kellogg's Smart Start. 100% of 10 vitamins and minerals and complex...
With 100% of 10 vitamins and minerals in every bowl, Smart Start is aimed at people with no brains.
Do raisins have brains? They're kind of wrinkly, and wrinkles are a sign of wisdom, right? Plus, they're in this new Smart Start cereal.
But Start was a cool cereal that came with pop stickers. David Bowie, Joey Tempest, and pop sensation Tom Cruise. It's no wonder Start being discontinued caused such an outcry. Up to 3 people on Twitter expressed disappointment with the decision, with one calling it the worst news ever. I suspect he doesn't own a television. Kellogg's had killed off Start, but they weren't saying why. I knew what I had to do, so I started asking questions.
What are we talking about?
Start cereal. They've taken it off the shelves.
We have not.
They have. Why would I lie?
For a video. Oh. Start is one of those cereals, do you know, like, it's expensive, and because the components are so large, like the component pieces are so, not the components, but the individual pieces were so large that every time you poured a bowl, it was always an enormous bowl, and you probably only got about 3 or 4 bowls out of a box.
How many bowls do you want for breakfast?
So your mum would never buy it. I know, it's out already. Hey, come on now. You two. Aye, you can't have the cereal run out before the next big shop, you know?
How often was the big shop?
I don't know, weekly?
So I can't believe you're being so dismissive of a cereal that you loved so much that you would eat more than 1 box a week. And you're like, oh, fucking Start, whatever, who cares? It's gone. Get over it. It's probably better now that it's gone.
Well, they've probably replaced it with a better cereal, haven't they? That's how these things work.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
New and improved?
New and improved Start. Finish, it's called. That's a fucking terrible joke. Oh.
From Finland?
Yes. There you go, you saved it.
I'm Michael Dowse, Director of Publishing at Larian Studios, and we're showing Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition.
What's this about?
The Definitive Edition of Divinity Original Sin 2 is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on August 31st. It's an isometric RPG with turn-based combat where a party of up to 4 players go into the world of Rivellon in hopes to restore the Divine.
Cool. And do you remember Start cereal?
No, but what I do remember...
It's that one.
Yeah.
Do you ever have that?
No. Well, there's no cereal in our game, but you can craft pizza.
So, so if you never had it, maybe the reason it's off the market is because of people like you.
It's, I mean, there's a difference.
Do you feel guilt at all?
It's hard to say. I never had the cereal, but in our game...
Too busy making your games, were you?
I mean, we eat cereal. We don't make cereal.
I think we're done here.
It was no use. Nobody knew or cared enough about Start to help me.
You're a coward!
The co-writer of the movie, Paul, Nick Frost, even denied having ever heard of the cereal.
Do you remember Start Cereal?
The what?
Start Cereal?
No, what was that?
It was like, they advertised it as a cereal for cyclists, but they got rid of it recently. I was hoping you could do something.
Oh, no.
Because you've got considerably more power than me.
I don't remember it. No, I don't know.
I couldn't believe the co-writer of Paul didn't know what Start Cereal was. I don't want to say he was lying, but I do want to say he was afraid to tell me the truth. Kellogg's had gotten to him first. I was nervous, but I knew it was time to try and contact them directly. They knocked me back because I wasn't press, but I knew someone who was. My good friend John Ronson, author, screenwriter, journalist. Hello, John?
Go for John Ronson.
It's Owen from The Boat.
Owen, from the YouTube,
Yeah,
from
great.
the internet.
Listen, I'm trying to get in contact with Kellogg's to ask them about Start Cereal, but they'll only talk to the press. So, could you help me out?
Yes, interesting. Thanks for calling. It's that fucking guy again, who always wants to talk to me about toilet paper. Yes, the toilet guy. I know.
Call myself.
Sorry, what are you bothering me about this time?
Start Cereal?
You want me to talk to Kellogg's
Yes.
about Start? What Start cereal? We didn't have that in Wales. I have Shreddies every morning, and I always have.
What?
Okay, and I don't know about your amateur hour Start cereal bullshit.
Hey, no.
All right, and I've tried to be nice to you because I don't like fighting or confrontation of any
I
kind.
understand.
I'm going to ask you to fucking stop bothering me at my house and stop bothering my family too.
John.
And stop asking about your silly rubbish nonsense, and I hope you have a very nice life.
Now, hang
But
on here,
leave
Johnson.
me out, just fuck off.
No.
Why don't you fuck
No,
off?
this-
I told him to
Are you going to
fuck
help me or
off.
not?
I told him to fuck off.
Fuck you, Johnson! Another dead end. Was it just coincidence? Or was there something larger at play here? I told my friend Sean that I was thinking of giving up, and he said, "But you always say that," and I realised I hadn't given him the wider context. So I told him that I'd been investigating Start Cereal, and he said, "My housemate says they've started selling that as Cars 3 cereal." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." Was it true? Had Disney simply taken Start Cereal like they'd taken Marvel, Star Wars and Pixar? And did Kellogg simply let it happen and silence those who may have spoken out? This could be their biggest cover-up since Banana Bubbles.
Pour on the milk turns yellow, the milk turns yellow like...
I remember what you did, you fucking monsters. The only way to be sure is to compare them. So, here's Cars 3 cereal. And here is the last box of Start in the country. They still got their crunch. Still lovely. Doesn't have that disappointing air of, oh, these aren't as nice as I remembered. They're just still good. Paler. My initial concern was that Cars 3 cereal proves that major corporations have become so large as to be unstoppable and will, on a whim, take anything they want and repackage it as a cheaper variant but with added brand recognition for maximum profit. But then I thought, no, it might actually be nicer. They may have improved it. They have the money and the power and the resources, so why not?
They've probably replaced it with a better cereal, haven't they? That's how these things work.
This was a really unique opportunity, a property that not only was attractive, but a management team that we really are glad to welcome to Disney. And we take it a step at a time. Again, we work opportunistically, obviously. We've got a very strong balance sheet. This shouldn't in any way signal that there's going to be a wave of acquisition of the company. We look at everything on its own and to see whether it not only makes sense from a shareholder value perspective, but from a strategic perspective. And this was a perfect opportunity, the right product, the right people at the right time. We'd love to attract more boys, and we like the opportunity to go after boys more aggressively.